Welcome back, Inebri-arts. This is Andy, the Inebri-art podcast, and we're back here at the Mayflower Brewery, one of our many places where we record. And back when we started the Bar Talk podcast, I was speaking with the wife of the current guest tonight, and that was like 2 years ago, and we finally got him in. Jim Casey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So for those of you who don't know Jim Casey, owner, head chef, or is it executive chef? Is there a difference?
A head chef is fine.
Okay.
I'm not big on titles.
No, of Blue-Eyed Crab and now the Malbar, both here in Plymouth. But you didn't... These weren't your first restaurants, right? You had something else before.
Blue-Eyed Crab was my first restaurant.
Oh,
we had one in between.
Okay. So you had Blue-Eyed Crab and then you opened up something else?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see. What was that one?
The Red-Eyed Pig, which was a barbecue restaurant in the city.
What's with the eye thing?
It started with the Blue-Eyed Crab, and when it was time to open another restaurant, we just...
Kind of stuck with the name?
Yeah, we stuck with the name and did a play off the name.
So...
We had other names going on for like other restaurants. Like we were gonna, if it ever did a vegetarian restaurant, we were gonna do the Black Eyed Pea.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
I think we had the Green Eyed Duck.
Yeah.
You know,
what was the Green Eyed Duck gonna be?
If we ever did like some kind of like Asian theme or something.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
You know what? It was just something we talked about.
Yeah. And so Malbar has been open a little over a year now.
Correct.
What possessed you to open a second restaurant?
All right, I'm only going to say this once.
Okay.
I was bored.
Yeah. And not bored anymore?
No, I'm definitely not bored, and I'm done.
Yeah. So it obviously the Blue-Eyed Crab got to the point where is running itself the right term?
Yes. I have a great staff. I mean, it doesn't run itself. I have a great team that, helps me get through the weeks and the months and the year and the summer and, on and on. But it just, we're going on 12 years this May. And, just like where I am right now with Malabar, where I try to be there almost every single day.
Yeah.
That's what I did at the Blue-Eyed Crab. I think, after 5-6 years, I looked at this and I'm like, man, I'm never going out to eat on a Saturday night. I'm never going to go enjoy myself like everybody else. And then suddenly, I'm like, all right, things are going good. Let me start stepping back. So I think, 7-8 years into it, I just, I think I went down to 4 days a week, and then I was down to 3 days a week. And, so I was working between 2-3 nights a week.
Yeah.
That doesn't include, taking care of some orders in the morning and stuff.
Right. Kind of, the owner paperworky kind of stuff. Yeah.
I do. I mean, I don't know. I always feel like I need to be involved.
Yeah.
Some way. You can't just let it go. So I always know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I always know what we have going on the next week, and I try to stay involved and do new things. Yeah,
it makes me think of the people I work with because they're always like counting the days until they retire, and I'm like, retirement sounds horrible. Like I can't imagine sitting around doing nothing.
Yes, I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah,
but honestly, I was having too much fun, and the Malabar. Someone let us know that the space was available, and I turned it down like 2 times, and I just started, I'm just sitting here, and I know it sounds great. We were sitting on our boat and hanging out on the docks and enjoying the sunsets. But we did that, 5-6 years in a row, and I kind of wanted to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
I did the Caribbean food, and I've done a lot of different styles of food, and I just wanted to re-challenge myself.
Yeah.
Learn new things. I think, if you just sit there and don't do anything, you're not relevant anymore.
Right.
And I just, getting moving every day, and, I just, bring on something new, bring a new challenge on.
Why did you decide to go with, for those who don't know, the Malbar is a modern French bistro? Would that be the?
Brasserie.
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 Okay.
Yep.
Well, what's the difference between a bistro and a brasserie?
They're all different levels, from cafe to bistro to brasserie. And, brasserie does mean, beer bar. So, we incorporated, a lot of different cans on tap, a lot of different cans, 12 beers on tap.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have the French wines. We do, a creative twist on classic, French food.
Yeah.
And then we try to, go a little bit above every once in a while. So it's like go a little bit above and then we pull it back a little bit. I think like the crab, when we first started out, we didn't try to shock anybody.
Yeah.
Once you have the people coming in every single day and then they're hooked, then you could just keep on giving them something new and showing them what you want.
But why did you decide to go, French? Was it there wasn't...
We needed to. Yeah. I didn't want to do anything that was already going on in this town.
Mm-hmm.
We have, Plymouth has a little bit of everything going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's a great town. All the business owners are awesome in this town. How many breweries do we have now? What do we have?
Four?
Four. Yeah.
4 breweries and a distillery and two wineries.
And I'm sure there's more coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. I think the French food is what I started cooking. You go to culinary school, and I think most chefs are trained, French trained first.
Yeah.
And I cooked out in San Francisco in French restaurants, and the space that was available for us really let me do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
We cook at the Crab, but we also cook in a space, the size of a shoebox.
Yeah, it's a small restaurant.
We don't have, extra equipment. We don't have big walk-ins, You should see, the orders that come in to the Crab on a daily basis in the summer. It's like, I have my prep cooks complaining there's too much stuff here.
Where are we going to put this?
and at the end of the night, it's empty.
Yeah.
We start all over again. At Malabar... we have 2 walk-ins. I'm aging my own steaks in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So we went a little upscale. We just thought that, there was a little something missing in this town.
Yeah. And that's the thing is it's definitely not for the budget conscious, maybe.
Yep.
But everything I've ever had there is like, where your money's gone. You're like, oh, I get it. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's top notch.
Yeah, listen, you want to get a $40 steak, there's a $40 steak. But
right.
Also, our steaks are 1 pound,
Yeah.
And some of them are 24 ounces.
Yeah.
We have a 24-ounce porterhouse. We age our own bone-in ribeye that we soak cheesecloth in bourbon, and we age this for 40 days.
Yeah.
And, but...
I saw a guy order one at the bar the other day. It could have fed 2 people. It was huge.
That's where I was getting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get one of those 24-ounce... Come on, who needs to eat 24 ounces of meat?
I don't need to, Jim.
But if you like to... But it's great. You get a steak, and, you get 2 sides. We do a little mousse-bouche where you get a little chef's tasting every night. You get an appetizer. I don't know. My wife and I, every time we go out, we don't really look to go out to save money.
Yeah.
Because we work a lot. So if we do go out, we want to spend money.
Right.
And give back to the economy. So, I don't know how many times I've been out to lunch or, you go someplace in town by the water and, your bill's $100 for 2 people.
Right.
You had oysters, you had a bottle of wine, you had a salad or you split a entree. It just, all of a sudden, it's $100.
Yeah, that happened to me, what was it, 2 summers ago? We went to I think it was the Wareham Blues Festival. And my girlfriend at the time had picked up the tickets. I'm like, well, I'll get lunch. And then she gets a lobster roll, and I get the raw bar, assortment. And then I'm like, shit, I should have got the tickets.
Right. So, and listen, we have a great bar menu.
Yep.
We have...
And you have quite a, craft cocktail thing going on there.
We do. That's all Heather.
Yeah.
She puts all those cocktails together. She loves doing it, experimenting with new things. We just met with... a couple of liquor reps today, and we are changing the whole menu at the Crab in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Menu's been sent out.
Oh, you're not going to take off the...
Yes, we are.
Like everything?
We're changing everything.
Oh, man. I really like the...
There's about 4 items that are staying.
I think the swordfish lettuce cups were like
Gone.
killer.
Gone.
Shit.
But
I'm sure whatever comes up will be good.
We're very excited. I think people are going to love it. I think it's more authentic Caribbean, but it's also, 2019 food or 2020 food, if you want to call it that. The way we started out, what did we open? 2007? 2007, yeah. I think we opened in 2007. There was more fish in the ocean.
Yep.
It was a lot easier to get seafood. Things were getting flown in from Florida. And we were getting, pintado from, the Amazon rainforest. Like, there was stuff getting flown in all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's just, I don't think that people are still flying fish in, but, it's definitely more local.
Is it getting that much harder to get seafood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, we would have grouper from Florida flown up every week.
Yeah.
We would get opa from Hawaii. And it just, these days, a lot of people aren't shipping their fish because it's being sold right there.
Right.
Why
fly it halfway across the country when you don't have to?
When you don't have to. Yeah. And, the cod restrictions, we haven't had fresh cod from, local in 5 years now, something like that. I think it's been at least 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know there was cod restrictions.
Oh, yeah. You're allowed to catch one cod.
One?
Yeah. If you have a license. I believe it's one cod.
Holy shit.
So, yeah, there's been restrictions for a long time. And I just, anyway, we don't have the blackboard covered with fish specials anymore.
Yeah.
The whole thing was, you pick your topper and went over the tropical rice. So we've broken it down, and we're going to have different regions. You can get your food from the Dominican, you can get Puerto Rico, Bahamas, Jamaica.
Oh, nice.
So we have it all broken down into different regions. And, now I can get back to changing the menu, doing different blackboard specials.
Yeah.
There's no more like whatever you order on the board comes over the rice and vegetables. It's new things, different vegetables, different things, different sides, all that.
Yeah. So back in 2007 when you opened, the climate was a lot different here in Plymouth, and there's a lot more top-notch restaurants here in town.
Absolutely.
Do you feel the pressure to compete with them? And, I mean, most everyone's friends here, but, it's got to be at least a friendly competition to kind of...
Yeah, of course.
...have the next big dish.
Of course. Every time a new restaurant, I'm like, I better step up my game.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of us changing the crab menu.
Nice.
My business has jumped 10% every year.
Wow.
Last year it did not jump. We stayed about even. I really don't think that was because, the new restaurants. I think we definitely, it definitely didn't seem like there was as many tourists in town as we've had in the past. But there's also a lot of choices for people to go to.
Yeah.
Look, if you've ever been to our brunch on Sunday, we pack them in, so people get excited.
You said you had like 90... Or was it, Heather might have said 90-someone people like last Sunday?
Yeah.
For brunch?
We did between 90 and 115 covers on brunch, so I think, doing new things is going to bring, new people in. I don't need to open up a new restaurant. I'm just going to change my whole menu. And
you don't need to, but you did.
As far as another one.
Oh, another one. I got you.
I already have the space, so now I just need to, do something new there.
Yeah. So you mentioned culinary school. At what point did you decide this is what you wanted to do? And was it high school? Was it
after high school?
After high school?
Yes.
And where did you go to culinary school?
I came to Boston. I went to Newberry College, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I think my father was, trying to. I think my dad wanted me to be work for the telephone company or something like that, and I was cooking in restaurants. And my dad's, old school guy.
Yep.
He, kind of, let me say, old school Republican, set in his ways. And I think a lot of us have that type of dad.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so I remember this was 87. I graduated in 88. And he said, hey, my friend can get you working with the telephone company. It pays about $35,000 a year after you're there for like 5-10 years. And I go, but Dad, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you think, you're going to cook the rest of your life? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? You know.
Yeah.
So one of my first restaurant jobs, I worked at the seafood restaurant in New York on Long Island, in a town just like Plymouth. You know,
Yeah.
I really wanted, when the crab, we found the restaurant, it just reminded me of where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked in this restaurant, and the grill cook was the coolest guy. So let's go back to, this was Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 86, 87. And he was a cool guy. All the chefs would walk in, and they'd bring their case of beer, and they'd throw them in a 5-gallon bucket, and they'd put them on ice. And, they were all sitting there smoking butts on the line.
Because
it was allowed
the 80s,
then,
yeah.
And I'm sitting there dishwashing, and I'm just like, man, those guys are cool.
Yeah.
Look at those guys. Like they come in, they got scars on their arms, like, from cooking and burns. And, then they'd cook all night. They would do this rush, and then they'd take off. So there was this one guy, Jim Scroy. He was the grill cook. And he had a pickup truck, and every other week he's walking in the kitchen with a hot girl. And I'm like, man, this I like this lifestyle. It's a cool lifestyle.
And it seems like there's a little rock star in the kitchen.
Even back then, when the whole rock star thing wasn't going on, it was just a cool thing. And it was, you know what? Let's not call it the rock star. It was a family. It didn't matter what restaurant you worked in. It was all about family.
Yeah.
And you hear it all the time, and you see people posting stuff on Facebook. I love my Speedwell fam. I love my Pillory fam. The crab. They call them the crab fam. And it's like, I'm very lucky. My staff has been with me a long time at the Crab, and they all grew up together, and they're all working together, and I try to take care of them as much as I can. And, if I'm doing good, I make sure they're doing good,
Nice.
And it's that family,
Yeah.
And, we're working on getting that at Malabar.
Mm-hmm.
And, we get there. I mean, first year in business, you have some turnover,
Yeah.
But, I keep telling my wife, we're working on that family, and it's, it's just where everyone can trust each other and enjoy working with each other, and,
And it takes, you got to find those right people, and I suppose when you open a new restaurant and have to staff it, it's a lot harder to get that click right away, where, the Blue Eye, you've had people working there for years, I'm sure. So.
Yep. I tell people I'm trying to get you to buy what I'm selling. You know, if you're working for me, I want you to believe in me.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that, it's like I just said a couple of minutes ago, if I'm doing well, you guys are doing well. If you guys are making money, I'm making money.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's an important thing to instill in a staff, so you don't get that kind of resentment. Like, I've worked in places where they're like, oh, he's getting all the money and, not doing the work that I'm doing.
I hope they're not. I don't think they act like that, but
I don't know.
I think like
I know quite a few of your staff, and I've never heard them.
Yeah, I mean, so when I left, it was time to leave Long Island. My father wanted me to, do, I don't know,
Blue collar stuff.
When we went to high school, my guidance counselor used to tell me in 8th grade, "You're going to be a loser your whole life.
Yeah.
Look at these grades. You're going to be a loser your whole life." And that's what we had. We grew up with tough love.
Yeah.
And even though some of our teachers, might have been assholes, they didn't care.
Right.
So you kind of had to make something of yourself.
Yeah.
And, working in restaurants, I took a year and a half off after high school, and a couple of my friends left, and I was like, I think I want to go to culinary school. The CIA was big at the time. NECI in Vermont, New England Culinary Institute was big. And then Johnson & Wales.
Yep.
And so I checked them all out, and Newberry College. And one of my friend's brothers was going to UNH, and they got an apartment in the city over the summertime in Boston. It's like, oh, yeah, come stay with us. And we went and checked out Boston. I'm like, man, this city is great.
Yeah.
It was a lot different from New York. It was a lot cleaner. It was smaller, easier to get around.
Unless you're driving.
Now forget it, man. Forget it. So I started applying to culinary schools, and, and took a little convincing, and, next thing I know, went to culinary school for 2 years.
So what was the experience of going to culinary school like? Is it like compared to like boot camp? Is it like immediately like working in a restaurant?
It is like working in a restaurant. So I had to do both. I went to culinary school and I worked at the same time.
Okay.
So now culinary school is Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
You have to do. It's basically like a full year of production classes, but they split it up. So the first semester is production, second semester is academics, and then your second year, it's the same thing, one semester production, and then your final academics. So I was able to split it up and always take Fridays off. Culinary classes, for some reason, we always had off on Friday, I think because they thought a lot of people were working.
I was going to say, if they think you work in the business,
right?
That's
so
like a prime
I was able
day.
to have Friday off, and I'd wake up, I'd go work in a restaurant Friday morning. Sometimes I'd pull a double on Friday. I would try to work either Saturday morning or Saturday night, and then I'd work Sunday brunch, and I did that at Top of the Hub. So I was there I wound up staying there for 3.5 years.
Yeah,
worked all through college. They were good to me. They gave me insurance and all that, being in a corporate restaurant. And it was right around the corner from where I lived. Culinary school was cool. I met some of my, best friends that are still my friends these days. And the dorms were right on Com Ave.
Yeah.
So the off-campus dorms were right on Com Ave. And, being 20 years old in the city, you couldn't ask to be in a better place.
Sure, yeah.
Right around the corner from Newberry Street, downtown, Kenmore Square, everything that was going on back then in, the early 90s.
Yeah. So when you went to culinary school, was there like a really broadening of your taste? Did you get like exposed to new things? Because you said you worked in a restaurant already, but I think of like a lot of kids that maybe like my daughter wanted to was considering going into culinary, but she lives in a household that's like mac and cheese and meatloaf. Did you get exposure to a lot of like new taste right away?
Yes, and that's a great question. So when I went to culinary school, I was very nervous. You're going to school for the first time, and it really helped me that I started cooking at the age of 15 years old.
Yeah.
Started dishwashing and worked my way up at the age of 15. Because when I got to culinary school, there was a lot of kids that just, like you just said, they were lucky if they knew how to make mac and cheese.
Right.
So right off the bat, I got along with all the chefs, all the professors, all the chefs, and I was able to basically just hold my own or have the chefs put me in charge of certain things and teach some of the younger kids, the kids my age that didn't have the experience, new things, So like I said, it's culinary school, classic French classes. We took baking classes, garde manger, it was lots of new things, We took American cuisine,
So I forgot what I was going to ask. Shit. So one thing I know specifically, because I didn't approve of this artwork going up in your restaurant, I don't disapprove, just fucking with you, is the Anthony Bourdain piece that you have hanging. So clearly he's a big influence on you. Why is it that Anthony Bourdain stands out amongst celebrity chefs to other chefs? Like, there's tons of celebrity chefs, but for some reason, people who actually work in kitchens kind of hold him on a higher regard than others. Because
he's always said what's on his mind.
Yeah.
And being from New York, I think I've always said what's on my mind.
Yeah.
And, it's just, you got to be honest, You don't want bullshit coming out of your mouth.
So you feel he's more genuine?
He's definitely more genuine, but at the same time, he's just, you're not afraid to call somebody out.
Yeah.
His book, Kitchen Confidential, I've read that on mine and Heather's honeymoon, actually. And it was just, I could totally relate to it. Everything about it, from his days working in the Cape and working in P-Town and working on the beach and, just traveling and, wanting to, carry knives and work in a restaurant for long hours and deal with the heat and You know, I mean, a lot of chefs get out of this business after a while. They just, you know, I'll never get out of this.
Is it like a burnout thing, or?
It's not a burnout thing. It's just if you don't run your life the right way, yes, it's going to be a burnout thing. You know, I mean, I've heard for years, you know, the restaurant business, that's a tough job. Every job's a tough job. Come on, you're going to tell me that, you know, people have easy jobs? No such thing as an easy job.
Or we call it a job.
Yeah, if you want to make money, there's no such thing as an easy job. You know, you're going to tell me doctors don't work 50, 60 hours, lawyers, you know, contractors, you know, every job's a tough job. You know? I don't know anybody who actually has an easy job. People think when they see restaurant workers, it's a tough job. But you know what? I've been able to maintain, you know, days off that I want to. I've worked in restaurants that, you know, just allowed me to do what I wanted to do. And, you know, if you're going to work hard, you know, in the end, you know, you'll be treated better and you'll be allowed to, you know, ease up on your job a little bit.
Do you think the experience that you've had with your father and going through, you know...
This really is therapy, huh? You bringing up my father again?
Well, you brought him up. Going through the industry that maybe wasn't his choice. So your daughter is interested in music. Do you think that's partly why... I mean, you and Heather encouraged the hell out of her. Is that, like, stem from that? Like, do your own thing, or...
I guess. I don't think I would ever want to tell somebody what to do.
Yeah.
You know? I think, I mean, not somebody that doesn't work for me, you know? Like, you know, my son just moved to L.A. 3 days ago, and he's actually cooking, you know? But he also went to UVM and didn't work out for him, and, you know, so I told him, you know, if school doesn't work out, guess what? You're coming to work for me. And he did for a little while, and then he went and worked at a couple of other restaurants, and you know, Monday he moved to L.A. with his girlfriend, and he's pretty excited to be out there. And
nice.
He's posting pictures, just, you know, walking around the beach, and it's sunny out. And
bastard.
He's 23 years old, and I moved to California when I was 23 years old. So I'm pretty happy for him.
Nice.
You know, he was born in California, and as soon as he was born, I moved back. And I think he always wanted to go back because he was born in California.
Nice.
You know? Now, as far as my daughter... One, she's a girl. You don't ever tell girls what to do. Just remember that.
No, I'm well aware of that.
You cannot tell them what to do.
Yeah.
But I want them. I want both my kids to be happy.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'll always have their back if something happens. I work hard so I can take care of my family, but I also want them to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, you know, and I'm sure it will because, you know, they see me and my wife go out every day and work hard, that, you know.
I think that sort of thing, like, carries over.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I feel like parents, and, you know, it's a general statement. I'm sure you can find instances where it's not true, but I think if parents work hard, the kids pick it up.
Yeah.
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 So you've met some famous chefs in your time. Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Came by to visit the Blue Eyed.
Yep.
You've worked with Julia Childs.
I did a dinner for Julia Childs.
Yeah. So was Guy Fieri the top?
No. No, definitely not. Guy Fieri, so I was saying earlier that the crab, we've always been able to maintain growing 10%. The year Guy Fieri was there, I want to say my business grew about 25-30% that year.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a huge jump that year. So
did you expect that coming out of the show?
He said, get ready to buy a new boat, is what he told me. They do sit down and talk to you because of all. I mean, we're still on TV for that, you know, so we still get.
Oh, they rerun that shit forever.
Yeah. You know, but as far as chefs, like, he's a TV chef. Now, there's a lot of cool chefs. Like, I went out to San Francisco, and I worked with Wolfgang Puck one night.
Oh, nice.
I worked with Jean-Louis Paladin in Carmel, California. I worked with Norman Van Aken out in California. I worked with Todd English.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other ones, too. You know, Jacques Pepin, I did a dinner for him. I mean, that's what this business is all about. It's about being, you know, you're in the hospitality business. You
right.
Get ready to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know?
Was there Like, which one gave you like the best bit of advice or the thing you?
I was definitely Julia Childs.
Yeah,
Julia Childs was the absolute best. And my son was born, I think, the year before that. And when Julia Childs walked into my restaurant, his mother said I had the same look on my face that when my son was born.
Yeah.
So it was, it was my nerves and everything. And she pulled up in a limousine, and I'm about to do a 6-course wine dinner for Julia Childs and 15 other people. And
did you have that moment like, what? Who's letting me do this?
we were on the news. We were on the 5 o'clock news cooking together. And so it was just me and her in my kitchen. Joyce Cole Haywick, I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Joyce Cole Haywick was interviewing us, and, I made brandade, which is a potato and salt cod puree, and Julia looked at me and she goes, "You need to cut back on the garlic a little bit." Okay, chef, you got it. So, we did that together, and that was for the segment, and then I did so I knew I was cooking for her, and I scheduled a trip to Paris a month before I cooked for Julia. Yeah. And I actually, the lobster bisque that is on the Malabar menu, I cooked for Julia. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while I do something from that night, just as a special or something like that. But we did the dinner. She loved everything. And then that night afterwards, I went and sat down with her, and me and her finished a bottle and a half of wine and just sat there and talked. And, she'd tell me about yourself, tell me about your life. And, she told me a little bit about her. And,
That's awesome.
I woke up the next day and I'm like, wow, did that really just happen?
Yeah, that's so cool. When I was a kid, I was considering becoming a chef. I was really fascinated by, I feel like I was at the dawn of cooking shows. I watched Julia Childs. I watched The Frugal Gourmet, The Cajun Chef. Were always on in my house.
My relatives said I used to watch Julia all the time when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
So
it was a great show.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of choices, so it was like,
we had like 4 channels.
Yeah, that's it. So if it was on TV and you were just sitting around the house, that's what you watched.
Right. So I feel like we're at a time where everyone's kind of like looking for the next hot dish. Like I remember the first time I saw Brussels sprouts on a menu, and now it's like every restaurant has Brussels sprouts. Right.
Or cauliflower.
Cauliflowers, yep. Do you feel like something's being overdone? Like,
yeah, I feel like everything's being overdone. I feel like everything's being... cauliflower, man, everyone's got to give it a break.
Yeah.
Like the buffalo cauliflower that we have at the Crab. I mean, we put that on 6 years ago, and I don't think a lot of people were doing it. And, now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And when I tell people I'm changing the menu, they're like, "Oh, you better not take the cauliflower off." I'm like, "Why? You can go anywhere and get it."
Right.
And, I'm really... The new menu, I try to be original, even though it's, I'm doing my research on classics. You're not going to find the dish and the sauce in any recipes. I'm trying to combine 2 different things.
Yeah.
From the same region and bring a new dish to people. I
know for a while, like my thing was, first of all, I don't like the taste of it, but cilantro.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be in everything.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And we made a point to make sure it wasn't in everything at the Crab, because we know how people feel. I love cilantro.
Yeah.
But you're right.
You'd go to some places and it'd be like in half the things on the menu.
Somebody gave me advice before I came down to Plymouth, and one thing they said was everything. I'm going back to 2007, and he lived down here, and he said, "Man, everything tastes the same down here."
Yeah.
So if you're going to open a restaurant, you need to be different, and those were my full intentions.
Yeah.
I was here at Mayflower for one of Stephen Coe's events, and some guy came up to me and he goes, "Dude, you got balls." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, who else would have opened up a Caribbean restaurant in Plymouth? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just want to do something different. I don't think I ever looked at it like I had balls. I just, failure's not an option. Yeah. And I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. I mean, this town, there's so much to do now.
It's insane.
You want farm fresh. You go into the tasty. You want, Baja cuisine. You know, you're going to Sukasta. You know?
I haven't gone there yet.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, you want chicken fingers. You know, you're going to see Jordan over at Speedwell.
Never heard of him.
The whole town's you know. We could still probably use some pizza in this town, but
yeah, and
you know, everyone does pizza, but we still need something.
But yeah, I was talking with Tatum,
you know?
and she's like, we need like good like thin crust brick oven pizza,
right? But you know, I just so 2007. I didn't want to open up a restaurant that had, chicken Caesar and, the same chicken sandwich that somebody else was selling. And,
right.
No, we didn't want to shock anybody, and we started off slow, but they took to the specials, and from there is how we created the crab,
Is there like one, you said you're changing most of the menu.
Right.
So I assume there's the things that you're keeping on the
we
menu.
We have dishes that are nationally on TV. Mm-hmm. The banana garlic wings. They're still going to always show that on diners.
Oh, right. You don't want to take off the things that people...
The hibarito.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change the clam chowder and the crab bisque.
Yeah.
And that might be it. Those might be the 4 items.
And at Malbar, you guys have launched... High tea, afternoon tea?
Saturday afternoons.
Yeah.
My wife put a lot of research into that and the teas, and we're doing finger sandwiches, and it's taken off really well.
Yeah.
It's good. It's definitely a lot of women that come in, but the last few weeks, they've been dragging their husbands in, and the husbands love it. You know? So you could still get a cocktail if you don't want the tea.
Right.
But, you get a nice 2 tiers of different foods, snacks, desserts. And it's quick, It seems like everybody's in and out in like an hour.
Like a quick little luncheon and get on your day. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing I found when I moved to Plymouth, and I'm still kind of baffled by this, is how one block makes all the difference in the world. Mm-hmm. During the summer, do you see Blue Eyed way busier than Malbar?
Oh, yeah.
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 And it's just that one block. I mean, you're basically one street closer to the water.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Like,
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Do you go to Newport or anything in the summertime?
Where the hell were we? Yeah, I can't remember where the hell we were.
Busy.
Yeah.
The whole town's busy. Even the restaurant on the side street is busy.
Right.
And I think everyone holds their own in the summertime. Like Main Street, obviously, that whole area is quieter. But everyone, you find your niche. You know what nights you're going to be able to, promote yourself and get the business in there. It's just like me. I'm on the waterfront, so November, December is really quiet.
Yeah.
I said the tourists was down a little bit this year, but usually, we see a lot of tourists in here in September and October.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't as many. And the Mayflower's not back.
Right.
I
think it's coming back this summer, isn't it?
It's not.
Shit. I thought it was supposed to be, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I you know what? Have you gotten a straight answer when it's coming back?
I've never really asked. I just heard like 2 years.
Messaged the people working on it.
Yeah.
And they responded to me. And they said it was coming back. I think they were shooting for May of 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It won't even be back in the spring.
That's crazy.
Right? So that's what they're shooting for.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they said they would.
Breaking news.
Right?
Yeah.
I've asked a few people, and I've been sitting on that for a little while.
Yeah, of course I'm not going to say that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you said you do a lot of research on like classical dishes and try to combine things that maybe haven't been combined before. But like, where do you do that research? I mean, is it all online now?
Yeah. I think, you see a dish and you get inspiration for something. Cookbooks, I'm constantly buying new cookbooks. I have a library of over 1,000 cookbooks. Sometimes I'll just take something and an old book that I haven't read in a while and just start searching through it. And I'm like, oh, there we go. Can do something like that,
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks, it's almost like writer's block. You have these great ideas. I think what happens is towards the end of each season, you're excited for all right, so now it's winter, you're going to do more squash and
hearty stuff.
Yes,
and,
and then all of a sudden you get towards the end of it right before the spring. And now the spring items, are really only 5 weeks away. And, you're just like, all right, enough of winter, know? And now you're looking forward to spring.
I'm already looking forward to fiddleheads. I started cooking with them maybe like a year ago. They're really good.
Asparagus and peas and, just, more of that, it's just, it's just new seafood coming about. We have some game on the menu now. We have venison on the menu.
Really?
Which is sold really well in the wintertime. But, that will be gone, this spring. So the menu changes. We try to shoot for every 6 weeks at Malabar.
And you guys have a bar menu.
Yep.
Now that's only available at the bar, right?
Yeah, we make exceptions.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people have been coming in for that duck burger that you like so much.
So good, man.
And, they'll come in the bar fills up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So they'll only get a table. And, we really want to get to, of course, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. It's killer.
Yeah. It is good. Yeah. It really is good.
I really enjoy it. And the one time I'm like, Jim, this is a really great burger, and Heather immediately was like, he didn't cook it.
Yeah,
so, she keeps you honest.
Well, one of my cooks cooked it.
I know.
My recipe.
I know. I just loved how she was like immediately like, he didn't cook it. Yeah.
Well, tell her next time she doesn't make the drinks.
And you brought up your cooks. I mean, you got a great staff there. You got Tyler and Mike, and have these guys, like, I'm sure everyone has some like innate talent or taste or whatever, but do you spend a lot of time like cultivating these guys and like because I know Mike used to work at the Blue Eyed Crab.
Yeah, all these guys. So now, like, a lot of them started out as dishwashers when they were in high school. I've known, Tyler's 24, 25 this year. I mean, he was there when he was 14, 15 years old working for me. And, Fat Mike was there. I think I first met him when he was 15 years old. And their buddy Sean was probably 2 years older. He takes part in helping run the Crab. One of their other friends, Ryan, he's my chef over at the Crab.
Yeah.
He's, he's going on about 5-6 years, So I'm watching these kids grow up too.
Yeah.
And they're all Plymouth kids, and they love Plymouth. And, I'm happy I can give them a job. I'm happy they can all, work together. And, Ryan runs the Crab and his girlfriend works there.
Nice.
And they met there. And, and she does desserts at Malabar. So she works at Malabar and the Blue Eyed Crab. And, we try to get a lot of the servers. Chelsea, I think Chelsea's been with me since she was 18, and she's graduated college. She's waiting to get a job, but she's like, she likes to travel too, so she knows like when she works for me, she can kind of take off for 2 months, and, go to wherever she wants, and so I just, I think if you're flexible and you give people opportunity, they're going to stick around.
Yeah, and that's
someday they'll leave. Yeah, but. You want to try to keep them as long as you can.
Well, maybe someday they'll leave and open up their own place.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, maybe Tyler open up a pizza place.
Yeah.
And get his ass in gear, man.
I've been trying. I've been trying for 10 years.
Yeah. But then you get like someone who kind of comes out of nowhere. I know he was kind of inspired by Mike Morway, but you got Jake Hill baking for you over there. And he's one of those guys that, how long has he been baking? Maybe like 5-6 years, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I know he was doing a bunch of things for Mike, in that same building. I've known Jake for a couple of years, and I think, I was closer to some of his friends, and, he was just kind of doing his music, and I was like, I wonder if I can get Jake to do bread, and someone just wanted to just go ask him.
Yeah.
And my wife and I went over there one afternoon, and I think it was after the farmer's market. I'm like, hey, man, you want to talk for a little bit? And he said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it works great for him. He lives right down the road, and he's always, writing music, so he can come in
it's
a couple
great
hours,
little
bang out the bread.
Side hustle, I guess you'd go.
We bake the bread fresh every day.
Yeah. So, obviously there's no corners cut. Do you see that? You hear a lot of like these kind of like corporate places like Olive Garden and Fridays and stuff struggling. Do you see that generally people are looking for these smaller places, these farm to table, local, fresh, all that stuff? Do you think it's just the appeal? Do you think it's a trend? Do you think it's going to go away? Do you think that's
no? It's definitely not going away. I mean, it's the movement. It's where it's going. I mean, people are always like, you can get one of those steaks, for $20 at another place. It's not the same steak.
Yeah.
I mean, we're using prime meats. We're aging them. It just, when you age that beef, it gets that nice full flavor. And, your some of the moisture is being removed, so the flavor itself intensifies when the moisture is removed. And I don't know. I'm not a chain restaurant guy. I've never been.
The funny thing is, when I first started hanging out in Plymouth, even before I lived here, we hung around Fridays. Like, that was our go-to place. And since I've moved down here, people are like, you're kind of a food snob. And I'm like, I 100% am. Yeah. I'll wear that. And it's I don't really like to go to corporate places. I mean, I have and will, I'm sure. But
it's all frozen food.
Yeah.
Do you want to eat frozen food?
It's frozen food made by some guy who's not really, doesn't really give a shit.
When do you eat frozen food? When you get home from school and you're 16 and your parents aren't home. You're pulling something out of the freezer and you're heating it up, But, like, if you're an adult, you should eat fresh food. I'm sorry.
No, I agree completely. And to me, the way that I look at it is I'd rather spend more, get something amazing to eat, and be like, hey, I just helped out Jordan's family.
Yeah.
Or I don't like to say I gave money to Carl. I gave money to Roman.
Yeah.
But, it's like you want to help out the people you know.
Yeah, you want to keep the preservatives out of your food.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a pretty strong farmer's market down here, Farmer Dave.
Yep.
Everyone raves about, and I've met him recently.
Yep, from Plato's Harvest.
Yep, from Plato's Harvest in Middleborough.
Yep.
Do you guys use his stuff? Like, how local do you try to stay?
You know what? I don't use it as often as I should.
Yeah.
I think in the summertime I'm able to get over there a little bit more. I am definitely... I'm a busy guy, know. And I use Sid Wainer, and they, they have, I can get the food delivered right to my door.
Right.
And
that's got to be harder when, like, the busier you get. Like a smaller farm.
Heading out and buying that stuff.
Right. And just like, hey, I need 4 heads of lettuce opposed to, like, I need 400 heads of lettuce.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, listen, the blue-eyed crab... Dave would come in the summertime after the farmer's market. He'd drop off a box of tomatoes, and I would sell that, and he was like, oh, let me know if you need anything next week. And, I might have grabbed another box of tomatoes the following week. But both of my restaurants, even when the Crab was a small restaurant, I managed to... on a busy day, do 175 covers.
Yeah.
And now, in the summertime, we do, in 1 week, a little over 2,000 covers every week.
Holy cow.
And then you start thinking about it.
It's a lot of food.
Yeah, it's 8,000 to 10,000 covers a month.
Yeah.
And you have 30,000, 40,000 people coming through your restaurant in the summertime.
That's crazy.
So that's a lot.
That's crazy numbers.
And, the farmer's market is great. We stop there. We buy stuff for our house. But a lot of times I just need a lot of stuff in bulk.
Yeah.
I'm buying cases of things but definitely with the French restaurant, I was able to get some more things and free up my time a little bit.
Yeah.
But, the same thing. We're trying to do the numbers there also.
Yeah.
I'm... the more people that come in, that's how we make our money.
So I love asking chefs this question, and sometimes you get some interesting answers, and they're never the same. They're all over the road. You already said you don't like frozen. You should be eating fresh. But is there like a guilty pleasure? Like, is it a Twinkie? Do you have to have a Big Mac once a month? Is there like that one thing that, like, if someone saw you eating it and be like, really, you're eating that?
I'd have to think about that.
Like, perfect example, we had Joe Elliott from Bear and Boots on.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh, we'll drive an hour to hit Taco Bell.
Right.
It's just every once in a while you get that, nostalgic high school.
Right.
I smoked a little. I want a Taco Bell taco. I want to make a bad decision in my life.
I honestly really try to stay away from fast food.
Yeah.
Chain fast food.
Because I asked Mike Moore that question, and he was basically like, "Fuck corporate. If I don't know the guy, I'm not buying from him."
Right.
So it's I always find it really interesting to to ask that question because it's really all over the place.
Yeah, I think, man, once again, we live in Plymouth.
Yeah.
You know?
There's so much great stuff.
There's so many great things.
I tell people you can't go hungry in this town.
Right. I think, I mean, being a bigger guy, honestly, like, I love vegetables, you know? And
I don't think you're a big guy, and I'm not saying that because someone mistook me for you.
I could always,
I would call you slim.
I could cook steak. I could cook fish. I could cook all these things and have them anytime I want. But I do love going out to eat and seeing what somebody else is doing with vegetables.
Yeah.
Mike Wisdom's doing a great job over at the Tasty, man. He's always, and Brent that worked there before him.
Yeah.
I still love watching, seeing what those guys were doing
Wisdom
with vegetables.
does amazing stuff over there.
And it's great. And, and we talked about, Speedwell. I get their veggie wrap all the time. I think.
I don't think I've ever had that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, and it's simple, man. It's just
that's what I like about Speedwell is it's very, it's pub food. It's nothing... I don't want to say it's nothing special, but it's nothing. You're not going to go in there and get squab.
Right.
It's burgers, chicken wings, some wraps, French fries.
Right.
Nothing that you wouldn't see in any other place, but they do a great job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and it's got they've found a great niche for themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I love the turkey burger over there too. I get that a lot.
I haven't had that either.
Yeah.
But I always get hung up on. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of pissed. I really like that they had a Shock Yard wrap, which they named after a local, workout place, and the place went under, but the wrap still stayed on the menu. And then last time they redid the menu, that's off the menu.
It's off?
Yeah, I'm sure if I asked for it, I'd probably still get it.
Right.
But I know a guy. So do you have one go-to place? I'm asking the hard question because now everyone's going to
the go-to place.
Or let me ask you it in a different way. Is there a place you go when you don't want to be recognized? Like when you just want a low-key night?
I don't... Besides going into the city? Yeah, besides going into the city,
So if you want to just be anonymous, you'd go into the city.
Yeah, but the restaurant community, man, it's... I went up to go see Mike Morway at Trillium a few weeks ago. And I looked in the kitchen. I didn't see Mike. All of a sudden, Mike's sending me out some food. And I'm like, where is he? I didn't even tell him I was here.
Yeah.
And he goes, one of the bartenders downstairs saw you walk in. And I'm like, it's like everybody in the restaurant business knows each other.
Yeah.
It's a really big community. It always has been. People in the city know each other, and people down here know each other. And, now it's 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, it's what I love about working down here, living down here. Is it's just the community. I mean, it happened one time I was here. I was getting a drink at the bar here at Mayflower, and this girl comes over and she's like, "I just have to tell you that I had to do a double take because I thought you were Jim Casey."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You just assume I know who Jim Casey is?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "Hang on, let me text him." And you were like, "Did you tell her that I was?"
That was Laurel, right?
Yeah.
Laurel?
And you're like, "Did you tell her I was chubbier and handsomer?" But yeah, I mean, it's just you just assume everyone knows everybody else.
Plymouth is the best.
Yeah,
it's the best, man. Summertime's great. The winter, especially this winter, it's going by nice and fast.
Knock on wood. We haven't had today's chilly.
Yep.
No doubt, but overall it's been pretty unremarkable. Which is nice.
You know what? I'll take 1 or 2 days that's cold. I mean, last year I think the whole month of January was under 20 degrees.
Bad, yeah. And then the year before
harbor was frozen.
The year before that, it was 8 feet of snow in 3 weeks.
Yep.
So this year's not been bad.
No, not at all.
Sweet. Well, Jim, I'm very excited to see what you have coming up on the menu.
Cool.
I've never had anything that I haven't loved at your restaurant.
Thank you.
I firmly enjoy going into your restaurant and calling Heather the wife of the owner because it drives her fucking crazy.
Yes, it does.
So I encourage everyone to do that because I love giving Heather a hard time.
She's going to take it out on me. Don't do that.
No, she's great too.
She's the best. She puts up with me. She's the best.
Your staff is great. Everybody there.
We've been together for almost 21 years now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great. You know, not many people can say they've been together for 21 years.
I'm trying to get past like 4 or 5.
Right?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
So, but no, it's you make great things. People can, I'm sure they can probably find the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives episode somewhere online.
Yes.
It's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah, I think you can get it on YouTube. You could probably get it on our Facebook also.
Yeah, sweet. And so they should check out the Blue-Eyed Crab on Facebook. They should check out Malabar, M-A-L-L-E?
M-A-L-L-E-B-A-R.
Yep. All one word.
Yep. Do you know what Malabar stands for?
Bad Bar.
Yes.
Yes.
As in bad sandbar. So that's how that came about.
Okay.
You know, we were down to our last minute trying to find a name for the restaurant, and you know, we have a boat and we've hit a few sandbars, and
is that what that is?
that's what it's. Yep.
Okay.
And it all came about from a French explorer. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it right now, but he kept from the Cape to Samuel de Champlain.
Okay.
Lake Champlain. So he kept running. He was drawing up maps to bring back, and he kept hitting sandbars, and he dubbed those Malabars.
Malabars? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So that was the only French relevance that we could find in Plymouth.
That was local. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. So with all the sandbars out there, we're like, perfect, Malabar.
Nice. And I strongly suggest anyone who's listening, visiting Plymouth, I mean, if you haven't already been to either restaurant, get there. Toot sweet. And check out the Duck Burger, man. It's just killer.
Duck burger, duck fat fries.
So good.
Duck skin right on top.
Yeah.
Crispy duck skin.
Oh, you had... it was almost like a duck poutine. I don't know if it's still on the menu.
We switched it up a little bit. I did some new things.
And I was there with a few friends, and so we got it. And I'm like, hey, can we have a couple forks and plates? And they brought it over, and Fish is like, dude, this is amazing. I'm like, yeah, but I already gave you guys forks, and I can't take it back now.
I think when I put the duck burger on, I took the duck poutine.
Yeah.
This way everything wasn't duck on the bar.
Right, but that was killer. French onion soup, also great.
Thank you.
So, yeah, love your food.
Awesome.
And, yeah, I can only say nice things about you, Jim. And I don't usually do that. So
I appreciate it. No, this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
No problem. And we'll have you on again when you open your next restaurant.
Yeah, why did it take you so long to invite me?
Well, because actually the first time we started talking
You've been asking me for a year.
I have, but like the first time that we started, like basically we became friends when you opened Malabar. Yep. And you're like, I'm fucking busy. And I'm like, okay, right on. And so that's about a year ago. So I gave you a year, and so I brought you back on. So now I have to get Heather on the other one.
And between the two of us, we have a face for radio. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
or podcast.
Handsome as fuck. So thanks again, man.
Thanks, bud.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.